Welcome to Home with Simone. My name is Simone, and as always, a huge thank you to each and every single one of you that continuously supports my channel. Today, do I ever have a treat for you guys? We are going to be looking back at my home tours for the holidays from 2020 to 2023. So let's jump right into it. We're starting off with 2020, and this is kind of how my entryway looks. When you first came into my home, I clearly have changed the way that my entryway looks now, but this is just what it was. This was a super glam decor style. Like, I have to say, 2020, 2021, I was like hardcore glam. The shinier, the better. And I loved it in those moments. But clearly there has definitely been, some changes throughout the years. And then this was the tree. This year I tried to do like a boa around the tree. I don't think, well, it looked beautiful until I sprayed the snow, because this was before I got a flocked tree. So I was flocking the trees myself. And one thing I have to say, if you're going to flock a tree, flock it before you put your decorations on it, because the flocking does create moisture and it makes it wet. And then it caused my boa to fall a little bit flat. In the living room, I had my DIY coffee table, and this is what the overall living room decor looked like. Very simple, just a throw and two of my throw pillows. These throw pillows with the dare on it, they were from Yisk, which I just love. And they were not that expensive either. I remember thinking like, wow, this was pretty reasonable. I think they were like $19.99. And then here we have my miniature village. This is when I had initially started collecting it, and some of the pieces that I had. Going through this video, or these videos in general, took me back, because I can see when I got new pieces and which ones I got, and it was pretty exciting. It was kind of fun. I remember having a lot of fun, a little stress, but a lot of fun looking for my miniature village people and houses, and even the wallpaper on the wall. Like, I completely forgot about the wallpaper. And looking at it now, I'm like, wow, that was some beautiful wallpaper that I had there. But my home is definitely more of the cooler tones. And this was the year I also found those little trees, the berries, at Walmart. And I was so excited about that. This is the corner that did it for me. This is the corner that made me purchase a pencil tree. This year, after putting up my main Christmas tree, I had this corner here, and I was like, I don't know what to put there. It felt really empty. So I decided, okay, let me DIY a pencil tree and see if I'm going to like what it looks like in this area. So this was a DIY. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it did its job. And in the moment, I loved it. I was really happy with it. It made my space feel special, and I wouldn't have changed anything back then. Again, this is what pushed me in the direction of getting an additional tree. And I had beautiful gray stockings in the corner that I got from HomeSense. And that's what the living room looked like in 2020, so many years ago. But if we just do a flip around and take a look at the dining room is really simple in comparison to how I do my decorations now. I love the 3 wreaths on the wall. My son actually gave me that idea. He was like, Mom, why don't you put 3 wreaths over there? And I had nothing there. So I'm like, sure. And it was beautiful with those gorgeous dollar store bows. And the place setting, again, was also pretty simple. I had like my little dare on there with my mirrored coasters, and a simple setting. You guys would have seen these chargers in almost every single video. At the time, they were my favorite, and I used them for everything, because I just found that they kept everything nice and neutral, and it gave the vibe that I wanted at the time. But yeah, it was really, really simple, and I loved it. And as always, you guys, I like to show you what it looked like at night. Night is where this particular decor shined. Like, it was like literally shining. It looked like all the stars from the heavens came down and were just in my apartment. I was on that glam train like nobody's business. And in the evening times, you could really see, because everything just was so glittery. It was actually really beautiful. And in 2021, I started bringing in some more holiday decorations. I added the wreaths to the wall, even though these at that time were still flocked by using the spray. And I wanted to challenge myself. So as you can see, not only do I have a lot more pieces here, I went a whole different direction. This was the vibe I was going for. For the dining room space, I decided I wanted to bring in antlers and deer and, you know, figure out the best way to incorporate that in my decor. I no longer have this giant deer head. It's been rehomed. But I feel like I stayed true with my initial vision, and I was able to carry that through the entire dining room. Yeah, I was content with this, but it's just funny to kind of look back and see these videos, and I'm like, oh, I don't even remember when I did this, or I don't remember that particular, decor choice. But do I regret anything I've ever done? No, because it's gotten me to where I am now. And just like anything, practice makes perfect. So I'm sure by looking at the space, there's a lot of things that were not the best decisions decor-wise. But in that moment, I was really happy and very proud of myself. You know, one of the things that I did back then is this double throw. I wouldn't do that now. I find like if it's on a grand couch, yes, but in a small space, no. You know, one of my favorite things, which I do all the time, is my winter village. And my winter village lived for many years on my fireplace. Every single part of this village, everything except for the reef, I'm talking about the village itself, was from Dollarama. My train I picked up at Canadian Tire. Okay, let's take a look at 2022. My entryway was so sad. I kept it really simple. I'm going to be honest though. You see these baskets with the bows? This has to be my absolute favorite entryway decor decision that I ever made. These bows, I got them from Dollarama, super cheap, like $2-3 I think. And I just tied them onto the baskets and I thought they looked so beautiful. I really loved how it warmed up that space. It didn't feel so cold and empty, but I could have done a little bit more in the entryway, even though I was happy at the time of that entryway being completed. My kitchen was pretty simple for a holiday decor. I always have something to do with winter and I always get new hand towels, but the star of the kitchen is my coffee station or my hot chocolate station. This is something I've been doing for years. Even before getting into YouTube, I've always decorated my home and done these things, but the one constant is my hot chocolate station. My son used to love this when he was younger. It's always a hit when I have friends and family over. Everybody knows they can head to the hot coffee station and get themselves a nice drink. I keep it completely stocked. This was the year that I decided to do a tree in my bedroom. And I kept it pretty simple because my bedroom was white. And when I say white, I mean it was just white. Everything was white. The bed is white. The bedding is white. Everything is white. And there was this perfect little corner that I thought, I've never had a Christmas tree in my bedroom. Let's see how I feel about it. And so I added it in there. Then I kept my bed pretty simple. I threw a little fur throw on there. And going into my office, does this chair look familiar to you guys? If you're watching my newer content, now that I said it, check out my new content with my DIY chairs. Because, again, as I explained with my love-hate relationship with these particular chairs, I've had them, got rid of them, got it back, refurbished it. But yeah, I just had that in my office and I put a Let It Snow throw pillow on there. This is what my office setup used to look like when I wasn't working from home. It's changed and it's a space that continuously is evolving and I haven't gotten it back to exactly how I want it to be, but it's a work in progress. I love the view of my Christmas tree from my office. The gift boxes were a DIY that I did, and the polar bears I got from Canadian Tire. They were such a great price. This was the first year I decided to do a very simple tree. I didn't put a lot of ornaments on it. I kept it really to 3 or 4 different kinds, and they were embellished ornaments that were spaced out. So the overall look, especially when the light was on, was stunning. This was one of my favorite trees. I mean, I say it about all of my trees. I'm like, oh, they're all my favorite. But no, this one I really, really liked because it was the simplest tree I ever did. And the tree was able to really just shine with little to no effort. I loved it. Stunning. Frank is one of my favorite DIYs beside my basketball purse. I loved Frank, and that I will list that in the description how I made him, but definitely a highlight in my decor, and I think I'm going to keep him for years to come. This is the dining room area. Same tables, same chairs, a lot of the same dishes. I just either add a different setting using my napkins or maybe a different bowl or a different plate. Bring out some of my different wine glasses or champagne glasses, water glasses. And then I normally will change my placemats from what it was the year before. And I also change my centerpiece. These pillows, I think this was a year I just got these pillows, and I found 4 of them, but they're different styles. So 2 are the same, 2 are different. I moved my console table from that little awkward hallway area that I normally had it, and I placed it in a dining room with my penguins and my trees and my little Believe sign, which I actually rehomed. And I just thought, you know what, let's do something different for the centerpiece. I did my little cake holder with cookies, and I loved it. This was a year I also got new wreaths, and I chose to put them beside the mirror, which I thought looked stunning. I don't see myself getting rid of these wreaths ever. I have never found beautiful wreaths like this since that day. I also decided to put up my skinny tree. The year before, this is where my main tree was. This year, the space was not exactly the biggest, so I did put up a skinny tree, and that is an over-embellished tree, completely different than what was in the room. I played with a lot of different texture and sizing, and it was my first time dressing a skinny tree. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, these bad boys are tricky because when you're putting your ornaments on them, if you're not, stuffing them in and putting them in a certain way, the tree looks really weird because the branches are so short. It's not, it doesn't go like a triangle. It's like a little straight line. So then you just have ornaments sticking out looking weird. So this was my first time doing it. And now I have a better idea and a better understanding of how to work with it. And this is the overall view of what the living room area looked like. And my miniature village on the fireplace is growing. I had a lot of new pieces that year. I'm really excited about it. Love my tree to pieces. I worked really hard on it. This was the year I was able to get a lot of new decor pieces for the tree itself, and it came together exactly as envisioned in my mind's eye. There's nothing that's more satisfying than creating something and exactly what you had in your head you bring to life. And that's what happened with this tree. And you can see, if you look at my Christmas tree from the year prior and look at my Christmas tree this year, my taste level definitely evolved. It's a 360 from what it is in regards to just the way that the tree was put together, my taste level, the quality of ornaments that I was able to use. And it does give a different feel. It gives a different vibe. I loved this tree. And then in this corner here, I put my 3 stockings. These stockings, believe it or not, they were from Dollarama. Not bad, right? They looked so good. And this is the view from the kitchen. As you guys know, any decor that I do, I adore looking out through the kitchen and seeing how everything is. At nighttime, it just felt so whimsical, so common, so beautiful. Loved every bit of it. And this is the light from the trees themselves. Like, it gave such a beautiful glow. And I spent many evenings sitting in my living room enjoying my Christmas trees and having a nice big cup of tea, sometimes a cup of wine. I highly recommend, if you're not a huge decorator for the holidays, at least put up a tree. It's so worth it. This is 2023. Guys, look at my Christmas village. How amazing is that? From on top of the fireplace to having like an entire little section. It looks like a little community. I worked so hard on this. We have a couple new pieces in here. If you want to see which ones are new, where they came from, you can check out the Christmas village video. I will link it in the description so you guys can see, but definitely evolved from where it was before. I could not be happier. I also started taking a little bit of chances with the kitchen by adding more than the normal decor. As you can see in the previous videos, I was always very simple, but this year I added so much more. I do have this gorgeous little coaster DIY. I will link that in the description. And then for my bar, I was just showing here a couple of the different things that I added. And as always, a dollar store is a great fallback store to go to if you're looking for things like hand towels or, you know, any little things that can add a bit of oomph to your decor. But the one thing I have to say I'm super proud of is this area right here. Again, kitchen's always one of the areas during the holidays I don't do too much in. But this year I was really inspired by my sister, who, as you know, if you've been following me for a couple of years now, she did pass away. And my sister was the family baker. She loved baking and she loved sweets. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and honor her by, from 2023 going forward, ensuring that I always have a bit of what she loves in the kitchen. And this year I decided I'm going to go ahead and do gingerbread man. So the gingerbread man and gingerbread women I got from Michael's. The candy canes I had from the dollar store years before. The bow is a DIY that I made. And then I added the little red bows, which came from Dollarama. And also those little squiggly things and the little balls with the white circle on it that almost look like bonbons. Those also came from Michael's. These are not, it's not an actual garland. It's really two wreaths that I just put together. And then there's this mat down here. It's like a little gingerbread, not like, it is a little gingerbread house. And my girls absolutely love it. I find it very uncomfortable to stand on, but they keep going on it. This side of the kitchen, I didn't put anything on the bar area decor wise. I just left it the way it is and it felt really good and it didn't take away from living room, dining room area. So this year I also incorporated a little bit of print with my napkins and some texture with the napkin holders. I also did a table setting of 3. So the soup bowl, the salad bowl, and your main dinner plate. So that was different for me. And this is what the overall space looked like. I also did my pencil tree in the corner of the living room. Turning around in the girls area, I did a full-size tree. And then I have Frank over in this corner here. The year prior, I think he was on the other side. So this year I brought him into the living room area. These 3 glass jars I had to get together over the holidays, and those were all filled with popcorn. So they did serve a purpose and it was beautiful. And then there's my main tree over into the corner there in front of the mirror. I always love decorating my main tree. Even though it's a very small space I'm working with and I'm limited to what I can do, changing the furniture around in any small way makes a big difference. And moving the fireplace off of the wall and putting it in front of the window allowed me to put the other love seat on the wall where the fireplace was. And it gave it a completely different feeling. And it worked out really well. And it was perfect for entertaining. I also kept my coffee table really simple. And I liked how everything came out. And in the evening time, it is stunning. So when you come into the front door in the evening time, I've got my little village lit up. And I just did the fairy lights just around the bottom side where the garland is. And then up on the other side, I didn't want to do too much in front of the door when you came inside. It seems a lot darker than it is in person on film. But it does kind of reflect almost like a mid-evening. It's not too dark because those lights allow enough light for you to see what you're looking at. And then going into the kitchen, pretty simple. I have a candle lit on the stove. And that candle actually was a really good scent. I got it from Home Scent and it's just called Christmas in a Candle. And it smelled like candy cane. Really, really nice, like peppermint candy cane. And then Looking through my kitchen area, every time I do a video, you're going to hear me say this. It's one of my favorite things to do is to stand in the kitchen and look out through the little opening and see how gorgeous everything looks. This was one of the best views since 2020 that I ever did, and I was super happy with it. Coming into the living room, dining room area, both of the trees, oh guys, they were perfect considering I had 3 trees this year in a small space, and it did not feel not one bit cluttered or heavy. It still felt light, whimsical, beautiful. I think I was able to balance everything relatively well considering I don't have a lot of options of space, but I made do with what I wanted or what I had, and it turned out beautiful. I did not put both of my wreaths on the wall in the dining room because I had the tree there this year, the skinny tree, so it didn't make sense to put it. I decided to use the other wreath on my door because 1, it's beautiful, and 2, I didn't want to take away or distract from the tree in the dining room area by adding it to the wall because it would have been behind that pencil tree. But overall, everything tied in together. Now, I knew that I was going to be going into a more neutral home. So end of 2022 and 2023, that's where you see me bringing in a lot more of those warmer, neutral colors and not so much the cooler colors into my home decor. These pillows on the table, like everything that I was doing and everything that I purchased and chose to keep from all of my holiday decor, they all had that same feeling of being able to migrate into what my home is going to look like in 2024. The girls' corner is so cute. They loved having this Christmas tree. Normally it would go under the Christmas tree anyways, so this year I decided to just make it a part of the decor, and they really enjoyed going and sleeping under there. It was so cute. Frank, of course, he's fantastic. I am thinking of making a female one. I just don't know where I would put her. And then the vibe that you get with the fireplace burning and my main tree in front of the window and mirror, I just loved it. Like, this by far was an elevation. One of the things I really enjoyed looking back at all of my holiday or Christmas decor is my evolution. You can see that my taste levels and my style, you can actually see where things start to change, where I really start to own in on what it is I truly like. From 2020 up until now, I even have pictures that I took from the years before, and I have definitely evolved. If I can find some of those pictures, I'll add them to here. You guys are going to be like, what? What is this? But it was just part of my journey, and I honestly really enjoyed it. I hope that you guys were able to get some inspiration. I have a lot of new subscribers, and you guys to get to know a little bit more about me and my home decor journey. It would be nice to kind of bring you through, considering we're in the holiday season, bring you through my holiday journey. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys my 2024 Christmas decor. I think you're all going to love it. It is really different than what I've ever done before. But until then, I'll see you all in the very next video.